Javier Mascherano took 10 minutes to go from back to front. After adjusting the microphone for MLS's Media Day, the new Inter Miami manager walked inside a conference room at the Miami Convention Center and settled onto his chair. With his club tracksuit on, he exuded anticipation. "Come on," it all said. The room's Spanish conversation subsided. It attracted attention. Mascherano then talked fluently in both Spanish and English during a news conference. He dismissed inquiries about Neymar, gave a sneak peek at a forthcoming friendly with Club America, and brushed off any indication that he could find it difficult to lead. There was only a nod and a gracias. "The mission has been completed. There is nothing to see." A few retweets and the occasional raised eyebrow in the room resulted from the sole major soundbite, which was an admission that acquiring Neymar would be impossible owing to MLS's stringent financial constraints, something he is absolutely accurate about. The public-facing portion of Mascherano's Inter Miami career so continued. Even though it was only his second presser, he handled it like it was his 500th. This place was devoid of drama. He didn't say anything really incorrect, mispronounce words, or make any mistakes. He maintained it incredibly clean, much like player Mascherano, who played 224 games for Barcelona and 147 for Argentina. Admittedly, this is only half of the work. In American men's football, managing Inter Miami is the second most prominent role. Only his countryman, Mauricio Pochettino, will be under more scrutiny in the months to come. However, for a head coach assuming his first position at the club level, it wasn't a terrible start. There is undoubtedly potential in South Florida if the other preliminary signs are any indication. Naturally, Mascherano's reunion with his former Barcelona colleagues and friends, Lionel Messi, Luis Suárez, Jordi Alba, and Sergio Busquets, is the main storyline here. Messi will be tutored by a former teammate on the pitch for the first time in his 21-year career. However, Mascherano has made it clear that friendships are pointless, at least when it comes to competition. Trying to force things or prove something that doesn't need to be proven is not something I do. Ultimately, my connection with Leo isn't the only one. Luis, Jordi, and Busi are all involved. Our connection will not change outside of the club. I don't want to mix things up, Mascherano stated. In any case, it is difficult to overlook the linkages. Presumably, there is a genuine relationship here. From 2015 until 2018, Mascherano served as Barcelona's deputy captain. Before giving it to Messi, he held the armband for La Albiceleste from 2008 until 2011. Suárez, who was quick to express his support for the new manager despite the fact that it was a bit of a shift, respected him. "We admire him for his role, even if it's a little odd to have him as a coach today." At MLS Media Day, Suárez stated, "We've talked. It's about realizing that he is the one making the decisions now. We must acknowledge that he is now the leader and not just a former teammate." Examining Mascherano's qualifications is also worthwhile. They're not very good based just on the outcomes. The football player Mascherano was incredibly versatile in addition to being a consistent winner. He began his playing days as a center midfielder. He then sank further into a number 6 position. He played center defense for Barcelona in his last 4 seasons. The key was versatility. However, Mascherano, the manager, hasn't demonstrated much of this openness to change. He was a tough disciplinarian when coaching Argentina's young teams. According to reports, his players were instructed to follow a rigorous code of behavior, which included cleaning their cleats, clearing their dishes, and keeping the dressing room neat. Disconnect from your phone, finish your assignments, study English, and, most importantly, attend a communication course to learn how to handle the media. Although those values may have given young men some discipline, they rarely resulted in strong on-field results. His greatest accomplishment during his 2 years as Argentina's young team manager was the team's quarterfinal 2024 Olympic performance. In terms of strategy, Mascherano is torn between 2 opinions. Although he has acknowledged that he is a huge fan of Pep Guardiola's revolutionary positional approach, his teams more closely resemble the fast transitions and intense pressing of Luis Enrique, another former Barcelona coach. With 4 aging stars to take into consideration, it appears to be difficult to apply both during the grind of an MLS season. Suárez stated that he is prepared for whatever difficulties that may come up. He remarked, "I feel fantastic physically and am excited to start a new season, get to know the coaching staff, and find my rhythm." As the years pass, you realize how important it is to look for yourself, even while you're on vacation. You physically prepare yourself to remain in peak condition for the full year, even though we had a little vacation. Mascherano will need to adjust fast, which is the problem. Asking someone to move from international to club management is one thing. There aren't many successful instances of that. Doing it in a league that hasn't been welcoming to foreign managers who don't seem to have any affiliation with the league is a very different matter. Despite saying all the right things at his news conference, Mascherano acknowledged that he had never been to a Miami game. Although I haven't had the opportunity to watch an Inter-Miami game as a spectator yet, I've heard that some of my countrymen are loud in the stands, he remarked. Jorge Mas, the co-owner, has only increased the strain recently by asserting that his squad will be the greatest entertainers in MLS prior to Mascherano's debut in late November. We're going to play an attacking style, but it will take a manager to play the football that Inter Miami wants to play, Mas stated. Our teams will exert pressure on other teams in that manner. Goals will be scored by us. We will exert pressure. With the potential we have, this is a club that won't sit back and wait for pressure to build up and play for 0-0 or 1-0 outcomes. Last year's first-round playoff defeat haunts Miami. It lost the following two of the best-of-3 series after defeating Atlanta United in the first, team that finished the regular season with 34 fewer points than the Herons and outplayed them strategically in all 3 games, comfortably defeated them. Suárez is aware of it after 3 months. We had to prove that we were the greatest team in the regular season versus Atlanta, but we failed to do so. We couldn't handle the challenge. Nothing in football is given to you, therefore we need to learn from that experience, he remarked. It is anticipated that they will advance 3 rounds the following year. They are expected to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup, the Leagues Cup, and the MLS Cup. A run in the Club World Cup would also be beneficial. That's scarcely feasible, of course. A treble has only ever been accomplished by one MLS team. It would be an incredible accomplishment to do this in Mascherano's first season as club manager. We need to make significant progress, Suárez stated. We must adjust fast and strive to be on par with league-winning teams now that we have a new coach, staff, and players joining the squad.